Islam is not a religion, and we don't like Islam.
And no more hugs to them, no more freedom for them, with no more Muslim in Australia.
And the building that we are using currently as the Masjid was built in 1968. It was owned by the Uniting Church, but for last 17 years before we purchased, it was rented out to a smaller church called the West Side Church.
People have got a right to worship according to their religious beliefs, and Australia is a country where upholds people's right to conscience, right to freedom of religion and practice.
Ini adalah salah satu gereja di antara banyak gereja di Garden City di Toowoomba. Namun, di kalangan banyak gereja ini lahir sebuah masjid yang menimbulkan kontroversi.
There was a news in a newspaper in Brisbane, 10,000 redneck is going to oppose your project, the mosque here. And then there was a sort of online opinion poll in the newspaper. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they published the outcome of the survey. 86% people supported the mosque in this city. So that was a positive move. The following day, the newspaper interviewed the community leaders, including the Catholic Bishop of Toowoomba and the mayor of the city, and the Pureland College is a Buddhist institution here, and all of them welcome the mosque here.
When he showed the fourth feature of human creation, he actually fulfilled his rahmah, his mercy.
Bangunan ini dibina pada tahun 68. Tapi ketika bangunan ini dibina, wallahu alam, adakah mereka tahu ketika itu bahawa yang dibina ini menghadap kiblat? Dan inilah keanehan, keajaiban yang Allah campakkan dalam hati mereka ketika itu untuk membina bangunan ini yang dahulunya sebuah gereja dilihat secara lurus menghadap kiblat. Dan yang lebih menarik, yang dahulunya tanda salib sudah dijadikan kalimah Allahu Akbar, Allah Maha Besar. Mereka tidak tahu ketika itu mungkin satu hari nanti bangunan ini akan jadi sebuah masjid. Bishop Robert ini bukan calang-calang bishop. Dia seorang bishop yang awalnya dilantik menjadi bishop pada tahun 73 di Sydney. Bermulanya Sydney Opera House, bermulanya jawatannya sebagai bishop.
Yeah, well, it was a place of worship, and it was a Protestant church. But there are quite a number of churches within Toowoomba, and indeed the area here was zoned as for a place of worship. And I know even ourselves, when we're endeavouring to build churches in places, I know in cities and the like, oftentimes the local community doesn't want any change, and there was a general fear oftentimes the fear of the unknown. But this was a place of worship, and people have got a right to worship according to their religious beliefs. And Australia is a country where upholds people's right to conscience, right to freedom of religion and practice.
There was an attempt to burn the mosque complex. The fire actually was set in one of the buildings, the main hall we use for meetings and gatherings. The person who came, he was sort of captured in the CCTV. We actually set up CCTV before we started prayer here. But that guy had a hood, so it covered his face, so he's not recognizable. He put fire in the middle of the hall and make sure that everything burns out. He put all the tissues from the center of the house where he set fire to all the corners, and then he turned on the gas heater on, the stove on. It is a miracle that the fire actually stopped burning a hole into the timber floor and stopped there.
Dan percubaan yang dibuat untuk melenyapkan bangunan ini melalui kebakaran dengan tujuan untuk meletupkan sebenarnya, dan inilah dapur gas yang menurut saksi dibuka sepenuhnya agar seluruh ruang dalam bangunan ini dipenuhi dengan gas, dan dengan keyakinan mereka bahawanya akan berlaku satu letupan yang besar, dan dengan itu boleh menghancurkan seluruh pembinaan masjid di sebelah dan juga bangunan yang digunakan untuk aktiviti masjid ini. Dan inilah tapak di mana api itu dinyalakan. Bayangkan api yang pada mulanya besar tapi akhirnya hanya merosakkan bahagian yang kecil ini saja. Dan inilah bahagian yang dibaiki dengan bantuan bukan orang Muslim tapi oleh orang-orang Kristian.
Across our nation today was called out of sheer frustration from ordinary Australians who fear for the future of our nation and the mindset of our politicians who don't appear to be listening.
There is a large portion of Muslim and non-Muslim community in Australia who are ignorant of Islam.
I see Islam as a threat to humanity.
Tapi di Toowoomba ni sebenarnya tidak sangka kita bertemu dengan orang Melayu yang sebenarnya orang-orang ini sangat aktif membuat kerja-kerja dakwah yang unik. Saya katakan unik kerana mereka membuat kerja dakwah beroperasi di pejabat yang dipunyai oleh orang Buddha. Dan rupa-rupanya pejabat ini juga diberi oleh seorang ketua agama Buddha yang dikenali dan dihormati di sekitar Asia ini, yang dikenali dengan Master Kung. Dan Master Kung ini telah memberi ruang pejabat ini kepada Kapten Hanif, salah seorang masyarakat Melayu di sini, untuk melakukan kerja-kerja dakwahnya. Dan ini atas platform multi-faith.
The group has the right to express concern. This is what I feel. I want to see things objectively, logically.
Correct. Yeah.
Well, I can understand why they concerned about Sharia law. I mean, let's put it this way. If I'm a majority in a country and you are the minority, only 2%, and you are trying to bring your law into my system, it doesn't work that way. The problem with this group is that they need to go into a dialogue with Islam.
Imam Afroz sangat aktif di bidang dakwah ni, dan dia asalnya Fiji, dan dia ini memang aktif di Australia, dan beliau mengasaskan Seekers Hub ini, Seekers Hub Global ini. Dan kita nampak bahawasanya pemikiran beliau itu sangat mendepankan ihsan. Yakni mendepankan soal-soal akhlak, mendepankan soal-soal hubungan hati, mendepankan soal-soal macam mana menarik hati manusia itu mendekatkan diri dan mengenal Allah lebih daripada hal-hal lain, khususnya hal-hal yang berkaitan dengan hukum.
And there has been no real connection and interaction and engagement such that we could be seen as the mainstream citizens of Australia, that we have not done enough to in fact develop a society where there is not only tolerance but in fact acceptance of Muslims as part and parcel of the milieu of Australia.
They use puerile, childish reasoning and are either ignorant or they are practicing taqiyya, that is misleading and deceptive conduct towards us in order to promote Sharia here in Australia.
It is amazing that the anti-Sharia sentiments in fact existed in Australia prior to 9/11. So this is not a new concept. It's not a new problem. We actually have had this problem before, and again a minority problem, but in fact had existed prior to this. The fact that actually a non-Muslim misunderstands what Sharia is, I think is a less of a problem. They actually hold these misconceptions is because you have Muslims who are asserting to them what they would call Sharia law, or in this imposition of Sharia upon them, that you know that we would kill you if we actually had a Sharia law over here because you drink alcohol or something like that. We would whip you, for example. Now, any person who comes from another faith would be quite scared about those kind of sentiments that should be shared.
Kalau kita balik kepada sejarah the Charter of Medina, I think we know about the Charter of Medina. Correct. When Rasulullah was there, he even made laws for the Christians, for the Jews, and for the Muslims.
So again, the problem arises that we have not, as Muslims, been busy in helping people understanding the truth of Islam. We are not letting people know what Sharia is. Because for me to be sitting here, for example, and speaking to you, and refraining from and literally emptying my mind from angry words or accusive and abusive words, I'm practicing Sharia. When I wake up in the morning and brush my teeth, I'm practicing Sharia. So Sharia is approximately 95% of personal law and only 5% of social governance. If we do not educate the non-Muslim, but most importantly Muslims, that what is our Sharia? When we talk about, when we say for example, I am a progressive Muslim, what does it mean when I'm saying I'm a progressive Muslim? Does that mean somehow that I am diluting Islam? No, it doesn't. What it means is that I am a Muslim who is able to respond to the time and place I find myself in, which is 21st century Australia, by utilizing my Islam to respond to it in the most beautiful way. And our religion actually teaches us as a maxim, al-urful muhakkama, that the customs of a people is a legislative component of our religion. Our religion is not just had punishment.
Dan sesampainya kami di Mabek, ni tempat yang sangat mengasyikkan kerana sekitar resort ini kita boleh lihat bukit-bukit sejauh mata memandang, dan ini memang rupa-rupanya tempat yang sangat sesuai untuk istilah bahasanya retreat, untuk orang-orang pergi mengasingkan diri sebentar untuk melihat hal-hal yang mahu dikecapi segi spiritualnya, segi rohaninya, dan ini memang sangat tepat pemilihan bagi sebuah spiritual retreat.
The Seekers Retreat that we are at here right now has been running since 2001, and it was since 2009 approximately that we made it into an international program beyond the Australian shores to bring people from around the world to come together into one place for over a week, for them to experience the tradition and heritage of Islam, which is built on knowledge, firstly, the sacred sciences. Secondly, to actually have good company, to have suhbah with people. And thirdly, to have reflection and remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is really a watering hole which allows people to come and re-nourish their hearts so that they can go back into the reality of the world and live in a manner which is called upon by the prophetic example, which is built on mercy, which is built on love, because the world can make you angry.
I know their deeds, what they are doing, and no more hugs to them, no more freedom for them. We no more Muslim in Australia.
Sometimes, if people don't know or haven't met people, there's sort of that fear. So there was sort of the unknown part of all that, but it's one of those things that people have to be open to receive people.
There are people who say that I don't even know what's the Quran, but come here and ask me for Quran. So I think that's wonderful, you know. Well, it's still a journey. It's still a long way to go. Masih dalam perjalanan.
Betul, betul.
Jadi dalam perjalanan tu kadang-kadang macam-macam. Kereta pun breakdown, tak cukup minyak. Certain area you cannot speed, you got to slow down. Kita pun tahu kan, selalu kita dicabar.
Betul.
Oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Setiap yang kita nak buat tu, dakwah tu bukan begitu saja kan. Walaupun kalau kita lihat daripada segi Quran tu was written over 23 years.
Yeah.
I don't know, Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala could have just said, there you are, take it.
Anything happening anywhere in the world just flow down within minutes. And when something happens in another parts of the world, that directly affect us. Everything has a repercussion, has a reaction within a worldwide population, and that's one thing we feel that some of the acts of some Muslims are very unhelpful, and actually is giving a lot of pressure and stress on the community leaders and ordinary Muslims to live in the Western country and practice their religion.
Ujian silih berganti, Allah jualah sebaik-baik pelindung. Toowoomba menyaksikan pertembungan antara simpati dan dengki. Malah, simpati dan sokongan terhadap komuniti Islam minoriti jauh melebihi yang hasad dan benci.
But listen up, you listen up to these good people and you'll get the truth.
It was the actions of a madman, not the actions of the broader Muslim community.
10 years working in Indonesia, 200 million Islamic people there, the most kindest, gentle, decentest people.
The Australian citizens are one of the most acknowledging, accepting and tolerant communities anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. And I have traveled around the world quite a bit, and it has without a doubt shown me that this is a safe country. It's a country where that as long as we as Muslims are a productive, a constructive citizen of Australia, that we have the overall Australian community accepting us without conditions.
In Toowoomba, there is that much more engagement of various groups, be it they Buddhist, be it they Christian, be it they Muslim, whatever. There's much more working together for the common good of our community in which we live, which is a wonderful thing.
You know, I am a scientist, I'm a professor of a university. I'm not supposed to do all these things I'm doing now. But I feel it is an essential part of the society. Now, given the situation that we're living in, someone has to do it. Otherwise, the community will be in even worse shape. So, what drives me? Because I brought my family, my children in this country. So, it is my obligation to make this country safer and easier to practice the religion and culture that we come from.
Namun hanya 2 minggu setelah kunjungan kami ke Masjid Toowoomba, kami menerima berita yang mengejutkan. Pada awal pagi 17 April 2015, masjid ini mengalami satu lagi percubaan membakar. Kali ini, kerosakan yang dialami lebih teruk daripada percubaan pertama. Berbekal semangat ketabahan dan kesabaran mereka, Islam akan terus mekar di Garden City, Toowoomba.